There is a question that haunts almost everyone who has ever ended a difficult or toxic relationship. It is the question you ask yourself late at night when you look back at the years you spent with someone who hurt you. You look at the evidence. You look at the lies, the unkindness, and the clear signals that things were wrong. And you ask yourself, how did I not see that? You might feel a profound sense of shame. You might accuse yourself of being stupid, naive, or weak. You wonder how a smart, capable person could ignore red flags that now seem so large they might as well be neon signs. But there is something you need to know before you continue to punish yourself. Not seeing the red flags is not a sign of stupidity. It is not a sign that you are broken. In fact, not seeing the red flags is often a highly sophisticated biological strategy designed to keep you alive. Your brain did not miss the signs because it was malfunctioning. It missed the signs because it was prioritizing your attachment system over your reality. This phenomenon is known in psychology as betrayal blindness. Understanding it is the key to forgiving yourself for the time you stayed. To understand why we stay when we shouldn't, we have to look at how the human brain processes threat and attachment. We are a social species. For humans, isolation is not just lonely. Historically, it was fatal. We are wired to bond. When we form a deep attachment to a partner, our brain categorizes that person as a source of safety. They become our secure base. They are the person we turn to when the world is scary. This system works perfectly when our partner is safe, but a terrible conflict arises when the person who is supposed to be our source of safety becomes the source of danger. This brings us to the core concept developed by psychologist Dr. Jennifer Fried. She coined the term betrayal blindness to describe what happens when we are dependent on someone who is also hurting us. The brain is faced with an impossible choice. On one hand, it sees the truth. This person is hurting me and I should run. On the other hand, it sees the dependency. I need this person for love, financial security, or emotional survival. If acknowledging the truth forces you to break the bond, and breaking the bond feels life-threatening to your nervous system, your brain will choose the bond. It will choose dependency over truth. It accomplishes this by literally blocking the information from your conscious awareness. It is a form of selective amnesia. Your brain edits the footage of your life in real time. It filters out the cruelty, the betrayal, and the danger, leaving you with a version of reality that allows you to stay. You are not ignoring the truth because you want to be hurt. You are ignoring the truth because your attachment system has decided that the pain of staying is safer than the terror of leaving. This mechanism often begins in childhood, but it plays out powerfully in adult romantic relationships. Imagine you are financially dependent on a partner, or you have children with them, or you simply love them with a depth that feels vital to your identity. If they betray you, your brain calculates the cost of knowing that betrayal. If knowing the truth means your entire world collapses, your brain might simply refuse to know it. This is why you can look at a text message that clearly proves infidelity and accept a flimsy explanation. It is not that you lack logic. It is that your logic has been hijacked by your survival instinct. One of the most common ways this manifests in daily life is through a phenomenon we can call the morning after amnesia. You might have a terrible argument with your partner on a Tuesday night. They might say things that are cruel, dismissive, or deeply hurtful. In that moment, you feel the reality of the situation. You might even think to yourself, I cannot do this anymore. But then you go to sleep. When you wake up on Wednesday morning, the emotional intensity of the fight has vanished. It feels like a bad dream. Your partner acts normal, perhaps even sweet, and your brain happily accepts this new reality. You literally forget the severity of the pain. This allows the relationship to continue without the friction of unresolved hurt. Another clear signal of betrayal blindness is the construction of complex rationalizations. When we are blinded to betrayal, we become the defense attorneys for our partners. If a partner does something simple and cruel, like ignoring your birthday or making a humiliating joke about you in public, the truth is simple: they were unkind. But that truth is dangerous because it threatens the bond. So, your brain constructs a complex story to explain it away. You tell yourself they are just stressed at work. You tell yourself they had a hard childhood. You tell yourself they didn't mean it the way it sounded. You work harder to rationalize their behavior than they work to change it. This intellectual gymnastics serves a purpose. It allows you to maintain the image of your partner as a good, safe person. If they are just stressed, then they are not dangerous. If they are misunderstood, then you do not have to leave. You spend your energy managing their image in your own mind, rather than responding to the reality of their actions. You create a fantasy version of the partner that aligns with your need for safety, and you interact with that fantasy instead of the real person standing in front of you. However, while your conscious mind can edit reality, your body keeps the score. This leads to the third major insight: somatic symptoms. Betrayal blindness requires a massive amount of cognitive energy. It takes effort to suppress the truth. This effort often leaks out through the body. You might find that you suffer from chronic headaches, digestive issues, or unexplained fatigue. You might feel a constant low-level anxiety that spikes when you try to relax. These physical symptoms are often your body trying to tell you what your mind is refusing to see. Your gut instinct detects the threat. Your nervous system perceives the danger. But because your conscious mind has blocked the exit, that energy has nowhere to go. It turns inward. Many people find that mysterious physical ailments vanish almost immediately once they finally acknowledge the reality of their relationship and leave. The body no longer has to scream to get your attention. It is important to debunk the myth that this only happens to people who are unintelligent or lacking in confidence. Betrayal blindness can happen to anyone. In fact, highly empathetic and intelligent people are often better at it. High intelligence allows you to construct more convincing rationalizations. High empathy allows you to understand your partner's trauma so well that you excuse their abuse. You can use your own best qualities against yourself to maintain the blindness. This is not a failure of character. It is a testament to how powerful the human drive for connection really is. Eventually, the blindness usually breaks. The evidence becomes too overwhelming to ignore, or the partner does something that crosses a line you cannot rationalize away. When the blindfold comes off, the pain is excruciating. It is not just the pain of the betrayal itself, it is the pain of realizing how long you stayed. This is where the self-blame creeps in. You look back at the years of amnesia and you feel foolish. But you must remember that you were in a trance of survival. You were doing the best you could to keep your world intact. So how do we begin to gently lift the blindfold without overwhelming our nervous system? We need safe practices that allow us to see reality in small doses. We cannot force the brain to see what it is not ready to handle. We have to build safety elsewhere so that the truth becomes less threatening. A powerful tool for this is what we call fact-based journaling. When you are in a state of betrayal blindness, your memory is unreliable. You are prone to rewriting history to make it less painful. You need an external record. Get a journal that is strictly private and secure. In this journal, write down only the facts of what happened. Do not write about your feelings or your rationalizations. Do not write "he was mean because he was tired." Write, "he raised his voice. He called me a name. He walked out of the room." Writing down the concrete actions creates a reality anchor. When your brain tries to erase the event the next morning, you can look at the paper. You can see the objective truth in your own handwriting. This makes it much harder to slide back into the fantasy. It validates your perception. Over time, reading these entries can help you see the patterns that your brain has been editing out. The second practice is the sanity check. Betrayal blindness thrives in isolation. When you are the only one interpreting your partner's behavior, it is easy to distort reality. You need a neutral third party. This could be a therapist, but it can also be a trusted friend who is not afraid to tell you the truth. Your goal is not to complain, but to calibrate your reality. Describe a specific interaction to them and ask a simple question. Does this sound normal to you? Or, how would you feel if this happened to you? Often, hearing a healthy person react with shock or concern is the wake-up call we need. When a friend says, "that is not okay," it borrows their clarity. It gives you permission to trust the feeling you have been suppressing. It breaks the closed loop of your own rationalizations. As you start to see more clearly, be gentle with yourself. Lifting the veil of betrayal blindness is a grieving process. You are not just losing the relationship, you are losing the illusion of safety you worked so hard to maintain. You are realizing that the person you leaned on was the one causing you to fall. That is a profound loss, and it deserves your compassion, not your judgment. The takeaway here is that you are not crazy. You never were. Your brain is a brilliant machine designed to protect you from the pain of loss. It protected you by blinding you. But now, you are strong enough to handle the truth. You are building the capacity to be your own secure base. When you can trust yourself to survive the loss of a relationship, you will no longer need to blind yourself to the reality of it. You can see the red flags, and instead of editing them out, you can simply walk away. The goal is not to never be blinded again. The goal is to build a life where you don't need blindness to survive.